Hello, you are welcome to this platform. And on the topic for today is sovereignty. Okay, what is sovereignty? Anyone will ask. Okay, let's check. From the Oxford Learner's Dictionary, the sovereignty is the supreme power without what limit. It is the highest power without limits. That's sovereignty from the definition of Oxford. But when we come back to CRS, one could define sovereignty as the supreme power or the highest power of God made manifest in creation. It should be understood that sovereignty is about the highest power and nothing more. Okay, so in the course of this subject, our interest is purely to display or to show to you how things were created in the beginning, recorded in the Bible. It is worthy of note for one to note that in CRS you have two accounts of creation. We have the first account and the second account of creation. The first account of creation is what we are going to look at or talk about or discuss now, and after which we move over to second account of creation. So sit, relax, and listen. If at any point you have question, feel free to ask your question, and we will do justice to them. Thank you. All right. Um, for us to move with speed. Now it is in Genesis chapter 1 and 2 that we find the story behind creation or how the world was created and things that were created and on the days in which they were what created. Okay. Now Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 began by telling us that in the beginning God created what the heavens and the earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving over the face of the waters. Okay, let me read it again. The Bible records that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth, understand it, the earth itself was without form and void. This is the condition of the earth. It was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving over the face of the waters. You know, there's a need for us to, begin to create an imaginary picture of the nature of such an earth that the Bible says it is void, without form, and darkness hovers on the upon the surface of the deep. Begin to create an imaginary picture of how this earth could look like. A earth that is void and formless. Okay, now, owing to the condition of the earth, God stepped in to create order or to create things as we have them, not purely today, but he initiated the honor that man now began to modify on. So, for man to exist in this realm called earth, God came in and made it possible for man to live. Because God has an agenda to create man, so you have to create an atmosphere where this man will live and survive in. So you have to, prepare a ground for man before creating this man. Okay, now on the first day, the Bible said God created light, having seen that the whole earth was covered with waters and darkness. And he said, "Let there be light." And the Bible recorded that indeed there was light. You know, God looking at the condition of this earth, and for creation to commence, one must see there is a need for light. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And this was on the first day. On the second day, the Bible said God created what the firmament, or what you could call the heaven. And this firmament was created by separating the waters that were below and above the firmament. Okay. On the third day, the dry land, the land, sea, and vegetations were also created. And how did God create this dry land and sea? I take you back again to the nature of the earth in the very beginning. We said the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving on the face of the waters. That was the condition. So everywhere we are covered with waters. Everywhere we're covered with waters. So God now separated. That is, there was a shift. God have to push the waters to a region or to a section, so that we now have what we call the dry land and the sea. Because man will not live or in a sea. So the habitat of man is on a dry land. Remember, the goal is to put order on earth. To put order on earth. That is the goal. To create order, so that man, which God is about to create, could live and survive. And God was putting things in their place to make sure that man, when he will create this man, will live a very comfortable life. Okay. God on the fourth day now created the heavenly bodies, and these heavenly bodies are the sun, the moon, and the stars. The sun could rule the day, while the moon rules was the night. That was according to the Bible description. The sun rules the day, while the moon rules the night. So, while the greater light, which the sun rules the day, the moon rules what? The night. Don't forget, everything we are just made for, basically, to for the favor of man. We'll see that while we go down. On the fifth day, on the fifth day, God created sea animals and birds. The sea animals. Like I told you earlier, that everything that was created, we are all created by the use of a command, let there be, let there be, let there be. This was the underlining statement. When it was time for creation of bird, God said, let the sea produce all kinds of sea animals and birds, even crippling things. Those things will take effect. That was just the pattern. Using a command, God created the world as we have them. Okay, on the sixth day, having created the sea animals and the birds on the fifth day, on the sixth day, God created the landed animals and finally man. So man was created on the sixth day alongside with landed animals. Now, it is worthy of note that man is the highest in the order of creation. Man, out of the whole thing God created, man is most important. Yes. And how do we come to this conclusion? Okay, now on the sixth day, man was created, and the Bible says when it was time for man to be created, there was a call in heaven. Let us make man after our own image and what likeness. Let us make man in our own image and what likeness. Like, if you study, if critically, if you have been following the rundown, you will discover that when it was time to create sun, birds, God said, let the sea produce all kinds of sea animals. Let the land produce all kinds of landed animals and the rest of that. But when it comes to the position of man, he said, let us make man in our own image and what likeness. And that is to say, every other thing we are made in their own shape and design. But when it comes to the man, man was created in the image and likeness of God. So it was only man that bears the image and likeness of God. Okay. So man is not just an ordinary creature, he is a special creature. Yes. So he was created in the image of God and also in the likeness of God. Okay. And after this creation of man on the sixth day, on the seventh day, God did what? Rested, and he hallowed it. That's the seventh day. He hallowed it. And what does that mean? He blessed that day. He blessed that day. That seventh day. He hallowed it. Look at from our notes. Man was created in the image and likeness of God. He was created with the intelligence and the ability to distinguish between good and evil. Man was equally given creative ability of God so that he could modify the environment. Also was given dominion over other creatures. You see it? He was given dominion over other creatures to prove to you that man is not in the same level with all the creatures. He was given dominion and have the ability to create, continue the design from where God stopped. That's why our world keep changing. Science keep bringing new idea coming from the intelligence installed in them by God. Okay, so this is the end of the first account of creation,